Hello and welcome back to Colonial Airstream. I'm Patrick Botticelli. In the last walkthrough video, I featured the all-new 2020 Airstream Caravel 19RB. It's also available in the 19CB, 20FB, and the 22FB as part of the series. Today, I'm going to talk about the all-new 2019 Airstream Caravel 19CB. CB stands for corner bed, the bed's in the rear. And this trailer is 19'2" from the center of the ball to the back bumper. It's 9'7" tall to the top of the air conditioning. It's 8 foot wide on the exterior, 7'7" on the interior, and the interior headroom is 6 foot 7.5 inches. Has a gross vehicle weight of 5,000 pounds, a dry weight of 3,850, giving you a net carrying capacity of 1,150 pounds. The tongue weight is 550 pounds. And the base MSRP is $63,900. There's some available factory options. There's a window awning kit, solar charging system, and a convection microwave upgrade. It comes standard with a regular microwave. You could get a convection as an upgrade. The option for the solar is $1,700. Gives you a 90-watt panel and 2 absorbed glass batteries in parallel Group 24 series. The awning package is a rear awning and a roadside awning is $1,350, and the national destination charge is $1,334. This trailer does not have the convection microwave upgrade, but it is available. The MSRP is $68,284 as equipped. Let's head on inside. I want to show you what the interior looks like. The 19CB in the Caravel series is one of the most open floor plans they offer. It features a front dinette that could seat a family of 4, and it folds down into a bed which is 40 inches wide by 91 inches long. So what happens is you remove the bottom cushions, flip the table down, the table lands on top of both benches, and you squeeze the backrest in on both sides. So you can sleep 2 adults or 2 kids there if necessary, small adults that would be. And there's 2 interior decors available. So they both come with an autumn night, which is a dark cabinet. We'll see that when we go to the back, with a white accent, but your cushion colors change from tungsten to pewter. So right now we're in the tungsten. It's like a flat black, and there's a pewter, which is a very, very dark brown with a little bit of metallic in it. And you can see how the contrast here with the autumn night laminate and the white. So it looks really nice. I'm very happy with what they did for the 2020 model year. There's a kitchen galley area with a sink and a 2-burner cooktop with ventilation. We spoke about the optional convection microwave. This is the standard microwave. The convection would be in the same spot and occupy the same space. There's plenty of storage in the galley. Towards the back, there's a wardrobe. Wardrobe gives you plenty for a family of 4 to bring the essentials for a small trip. There's a privacy curtain that pulls across the back here for the bedroom area. So if you wanted that separation, this is made at Airstream. It's a cloth material. And this just buttons back when you're not using it. There's a sink area here for the bathroom. It's outside of the bathroom area with a vanity above. And the bathroom is pretty genius in how they designed this door. So when you're not using the toilet area, this tucks back really far. So it's easier to get in and out of bed. It's easier to make the bed. But when you're in the bathroom, the door pops out this way to give you a lot more room in the bathroom. And inside the bathroom, you got a toilet here on the side. It's a dry bath. So the smaller size, the 16RB, has a wet bath. This is a dry bath, and it's got a very large shower enclosure. The bed here, pillow top memory foam mattress. It is 48 inches by 76 inches long, and you got a rear opening window and a side porthole window. There's a TV that swings around, so you can utilize it in the galley area or the bedroom area, you choose. And then the refrigerator is a 4.3 cubic foot size. There's storage below that, and there's storage below the bed. There's storage above the refrigerator. There's a pantry here off to the side, and then a shelf here up top. So now I give you a basic overview of the interior. Let me show you how some of this stuff works in a little bit more detail. We're going to start over here by the entry door. You've got a grab handle on the inside. You got electronic battery disconnect. So the batteries in the trailer are on right now. I got lights on. We're not plugged into electricity. When I'm all done, I'd shut everything off as best as I can. But if I did leave an item on, if I hit this battery disconnect, it shuts down all the power inside the trailer. I turn it back on, it restores power, and I can turn back on my ceiling lights. It's best practice to turn that on before you hook into your tow vehicle or before you plug into shore power at a campground. So you want to make sure that's the first thing you do when you go to use the trailer, just turn it on. Above that, we have a step light, an LED step light that we can turn on and off. We have the awning light. We're going to see that outside. I'm going to pull the awning out later so you can see the LED light strip up top. But you can dim that down. And you get your ceiling lights. Turn them on and off. You just tap the little button here, little light in the middle, and then you hold it to dim it. And then you do it again. We'll tap it back on, and I can brighten them up. The curtains are a four-piece curtain. They have a black outlining. They're snapped into the wall here, but they're on a track, and there's Velcro strips that will allow you to attach all four of the panels back together. But I love that panoramic view. You can sit at this dinette, and you can do your work, and you can see all the way around. That's one of the favorite items on this trailer, I think, is this front panoramic window with the dinette. A dinette has a soft edge to it, so when you're sitting here working, it's not a sharp laminate edge. All the materials in here, this is plywood with laminate, so there's no particle board and there's no vinyl sticker wrap on any of the cabinets, all regular laminate. There's an LED reading light up top, which is directional. LED spotlight with one or two elements. A front window. Once you open the rock guard, we'll see that later. You could open the height, 3 different heights, and there's an insect screen on the 2 windows that open this trailer. Don't forget you get the big screen door as well. Under the dinette, there's a drawer for additional storage. There's enough room, you could kick your shoes off here at the entry door. Under the dinette here, we have a subwoofer that's part of the sound system. We have electrical outlet under the dinette. The table leg, when you bring the table down, locks up in place. This booth dinette has an access panel for service underneath, so you can get to the front area here for service, or there's a little bulk storage underneath this cushion here, so you can hide some things that maybe you don't want people to get to that easily underneath this seat. This is where, in previous model years, the freshwater tank would have been. Above, we have a speaker here and a speaker here in the roof locker, and there's speakers in the bedroom, so you got 5 speakers total. Has the JL audio sound system, which is also Bluetooth, and then you have a Sony Blu-ray player on board as well. There's a cover for the stereo when you're not using it, maybe to keep items from bumping into it, or to keep light down if it's on at night and you want to listen to the music but you don't want the light illuminating through. You could put that cover on. There's an inverter outlet, so this trailer comes standard with a 1,000 watt pure sine wave inverter for dedicated outlets throughout the trailer. When you're using an inverter, you don't have to be plugged into electricity. It takes your stored battery juice and inverts it into electricity up to 1,000 watts, so you could use small electronic devices like a television, laptop, or your Blu-ray player. When you're done using the inverter, you want to make sure you shut it down because it will drain the battery a lot faster than your solar could gain power back. And to turn the inverter on and off is this button right here on the wall. Press it on, the green light will illuminate. The inverter is located underneath the bed. There's an access panel for service. Fan will kick on, and now we have electricity going to dedicated inverter outlets that are on board. So I could take my little electrical outlet tester that Airstream gives you, and I could plug that into an outlet, and I could see it's correct because I got 2 amber color lit. There's a little guide here on the side, but also have power going to it. So you could test to see if it's working. And then what's plugged in is the Blu-ray player at this moment. There's a remote control for your Blu-ray. This up here, I just have this stored up here just so it doesn't bounce around. But this is the monitor as part of your backup camera. So this would go in your tow vehicle. You plug this into a 12-volt port. This is all standard now for 2019 and up on traditional travel trailers. But when you turn on your parking lights, that'll power this monitor and the power to camera. And you can see what's going on behind you, not only for backing up, but for driving. So it's a really, really nice addition that Airstream includes now on the Bambi series and up. And then you could put it up here for storage. This is aluminum back to the cabinet. And it also comes with a little box for storage as well. There's a smoke detector, 9-volt battery. You want to check that, change it every 6 months. There's an electrical outlet here behind the dinette. This has the optional solar charging system. So this is the solar charger display. And you can press the select button and check your battery voltage, solar charge amps, solar amp hours, and your charging status, all right from here. Above that, we have the Sea Level 2 tank monitoring system. You can see your battery percentage remaining and your fresh water capacity. So you have a 27-gallon tank. So this will give you a reading based in percentage of how much percentage of water you have left in the tank, versus some other manufacturers might use thirds or quarters. So you can get more precise reading. Gray waste tank is 28 gallons. We're at 0% right now. And the black waste of 18 gallons, we're at 0 right now. You could also turn on your water pump from here. So I could turn on, if I had water in the freshwater tank, I'd turn on the pump. The pump would pressurize the water system. Once it's done, it would shut off. And then once you turn on a faucet, it would see a drop in pressure, water would come out, and the pump would kick back on. There's a little green LED light above it to indicate that the pump's on. Right now we have no water in the system, so I don't want to leave the pump on because it will continuously run and burn itself out in a very fast period of time. Sink is stainless steel. Mow and faucet behind, little sprayer that pulls out. And then they give you this little grate on the bottom here, which is nice, and then a cutting board or just a cover for the sink goes on top. Ocean air roller shade that goes behind the sink area, give you a little privacy. Spotlight with 1 or 2 elements, LED as well. LED cooktop light and cooktop ventilation. So when I go outside, I'll show you there's a louver that you're going to open to allow the heat and excess and steam and smoke to go outside the trailer. The cooktop is the contour cooktop. This is a 2-burner, back is a high output. You want to be mindful on the size of the pot or pan you put on that it doesn't go over the edge of this. You're going to turn it to ignite, push in, and now allow gas to go through. Sometimes you get a little bit of air in the gas line and it won't allow it to ignite. You could also do the front one the same way, and then once you get it lit, you go high, low. And then this is removable for cleaning. It sits in little rubber grommets. Below is the standard microwave that comes with it. It's a decent size inside. When you get the convection microwave, it's about the same size. This is a propane leak detector. It's hardwired to the battery system on the trailer, so there's no batteries to replace. But this is constantly monitoring air quality of the trailer. Even when you turn the battery system off in the trailer, this is on monitoring air quality. If you have a gas leak, this will set it off. But a lot of other things, pet dander, aerosols, anything heavier than air will set this off. But you still want to use caution, exit the trailer, check to see if you have a leak, shut your propane off before you come back in. There's a drawer below the microwave, the silverware organizer. It's all wooden box drawers, full extension, comes all the way out. And there's a J-latch in the back to keep it shut. This area here is your furnace. The furnace is ducted on the floor. It's a 16,000 BTU furnace. This is the intake. You don't want to put a filter or clog this area with anything. It'll overwork the furnace. And the furnace runs on propane with a battery spark ignition, and the battery spins the blower. So you don't have to be plugged in to use the furnace. There's an access panel here. If the furnace ever needed service, a technician could get in. You got a shelf above, and then you have the plumbing for your sink, and you have the shutoffs there just like you would at home. Premium hardware. All these cabinet hardware hinges are detachable. All right, now there's a lock in place, so I can't detach it. But they're also adjustable, so I could get it square over time. I could bring the door in and out. Really, really nice hardware. And you can see the color here. It's like a flat black for the cabinet door hardware. Up top here, we have a ducted air conditioning system in the Caravel. So what it does is you have a 13,500 B2 air conditioning right here with intakes. And the intakes allow the air to come in. So there's filters in here you want to check periodically. I would say every single trip. You wouldn't be surprised how fast it could get clogged. And then the air goes through this ductwork, and it really reduces noise level. That's why they call it quiet stream. And each one of these vents you could spin around, or you could shut off vents and dedicated more air to go to the back. The electric heat strip that's built in here will take the chill out of the air on a cold night. So maybe you don't have to fire up your furnace, but you do need your furnace if you want to heat your tanks. I'll explain that in a little bit. But the heat strip will help bring the temperature up in the trailer a slight degree just to take the chill out of the air. But that also runs through the ductwork as well. There's a fantastic fan. It's 14 by 14 hole. That's the size, the dimension. And it has a motorized lid, variable speed control, thermostat control, quick release on the screen here. You can pull this down and snap it off and clean the blades and the screen. You can have the lid open but have the fan disabled. The motorized lid button here will allow the lid to come up. Once the lid comes up enough, it will kick the fan on. I have it on speed number 1, 2, 3. Right now it's pretty warm in here. So here's our room temperature. I just shut the fan off. If I set it a little bit cooler than room temperature, the fan will kick on until it reaches that temperature and the fan will shut off automatically. There's also a rain sensor in here that will shut the fan down when it rains as well. So sometimes you might try to turn on the fantastic fan, but the sensor's already wet and it won't work at all. You just have to be mindful if it did rain or it was very moist out the night before, that the fan might not come up. There's a fuse here on the side that is sacrificial if the fan blade ever got stuck. And then you could manually close the lid if you wanted to, or you could just use the motorized feature. There's one here and there's one in the bedroom. The one in the bedroom has a privacy shade on it, so if you want the bedroom a little bit darker, you could darken it down. You could buy that through our parts department, optional for the front one if you wish. Okay, in the wardrobe, let me just turn on these lights again. There's a light here to illuminate this at night. This rod has notches built into it so your clothes hangers don't swing back and forth. The waste pail you can put wherever you want in the trailer. I have it stored in the wardrobe right now. Below that is the battery charger. There's a multi-stage battery charger. It also converts AC to DC and charges the battery. So you have all your breakers. Your main one's 30, 20, 15, and so on. There's GFCI reset. So if one of your wet electrical outlets, bathroom, kitchen, anywhere close enough to water gets wet, this will trip and then you could reset it right here. And then these are all your 12 volt ATC automotive style fuses for the radio, the fans, the lighting. Anything that's 12 volt has a fusible link built in here. And if one of these fuses was to blow for whatever reason, there's an LED light that illuminate next to each one of them to let you know which one has failed. And there's a guide here. I'll tell you what fuse does what. There's a guide here for your electrical breakers. The battery charger has a fan that cools it down. So you want to make sure you keep this area clear. You don't want to put pile up laundry in front of it because you'll overheat your converter and it will greatly reduce its life. In the vanity area, let me just tuck this back so we can see a little bit better. We have the comfort control 2 center. So this is your HVAC control for your heat strip, your air conditioning, your furnace, and just the fan blower inside the air conditioning. So you could set which mode you would like it on through here. You could toggle through. Now I'm not plugged into electricity, so most of these things won't work, but my furnace will work. Your zone, there's only one zone in this trailer. You could set the clock. You could change the fan speed in the air conditioning from automatic, so that means it will kick on when it calls for air conditioner heat and shut off when it's done. Or you could put on low, medium, high, and it'll run continuous, but the air conditioning compressor will kick on off as needed. You could also, when you set the clock, you could also set the program, so you could have it coming on and off just like at home at certain periods of the day. You could change your temperature up and down here. You could monitor your inside temperature from here, and you could change it from Fahrenheit to Celsius. There's a light here for the bathroom. You have your vanity lights, which are dimmable, and the bedroom lights, which are dimmable. Below that, we have controls for a water heater. We're going to see the water heater when we go outside, the outside service hatch, but this is where you operate the water heater. So you have a gas element and an electric element. You could turn the gas on. What happens is if the water heater needs to come on, if the temperature in the tank is below its threshold, the gas valve will open, it will ignite, and in about 15 minutes you'll have piping hot water. It superheats the water because it's only a 6-gallon reservoir, but it has a mixer valve, and it'll give you 9 gallons continuous flow of hot water. And it's going to be a very hot temperature, so you're going to mix that with quite a bit of cooler water to cool it down so you're comfortable showering. So you could really extend your shower pretty long. But if it misfired on the propane, the little red light that's next to it will illuminate to let you know there was a misfire. So you could try it again, check your propane. To the left of that, there's an electric element. So if you have enough amperage available, so you're not running the air conditioner, your microwave, and your laptop computer and your TV at the same time, you could flip this on, and there's an electric element inside the water heater that will heat the water in the same manner. But if you don't have electricity, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen at all. And the red light will only come on when it misfires on propane. Just keep that in mind. There's an electrical outlet here behind the sink, and then a medicine cabinet that opens up with shelves that are adjustable or removable. Below, we have storage, and I have some tank drop-in deodorizers that Colonial gives you, some toilet paper, and some gel-style tank deodorizer that Airstream gives you. Okay, in the bathroom, bring this around. There's a fan up top. You just push up, push the red button, and that will exhaust stale air and steam out of the bathroom. The light switch for the bathroom was on the outside, but if you're in here, it's too bright, you could shut it down. There's a hook here on the side for wardrobe, bathrobe. There's a toilet paper holder off to the side. It's a porcelain style toilet. Lid goes up. When you push on the pedal here on the side, the bowl valve will open and allow you to flush the waste. If you push partially on it, it allows the valve to open and allow water to fill the bowl, and you could fill it to your desired height, whatever height you would like, and when you're done you could flush it. It's always best practice to drain the bowl down before you start towing because you don't want water splashing all over the walls of the trailer. For privacy, there's an Ocean Air roller shade in the back. And in the shower, this is a two-piece fiberglass enclosure with a 3-inch overlap at the seam. So you just want to periodically check any of the seams, caulk, just like you would at home. There's a towel rack here on the side and a really nice shower door. This is, it seems flimsy, but it's a very well engineered product and we have very little trouble with it. Slide it across, hook it in, pull back, roll it back. There's a squeegee built into it. Gets all the water off the shower door, and it's mold and mildew resistant. And even though, I take my word for it, we've been using this same shower door since 1998, and it's very durable. Shower wand is detachable from the wall. Once you use your shower diverter, just like at home, to get your desired temperature, you could pause it, lather up, turn it back on, and your temperature's still set where you had it. There's a ledge here that you could sit on and utilize. This is a pretty big shower in this trailer. I'm 5'9". You can see what extra height I have here. Plus I got these big boots on. And there's plenty of elbow room in here. This is a clothesline you could pull across. And you hook that on. You can hang light items like a bathing suit. I wouldn't hang anything heavy like a towel from it. And I would make sure you remove them before you start towing around. You don't want that weight pulling down on it while you're towing. In the bedroom, the mattress you can lift up and you can see the access hatch to get to the back of the water heater and service access for other items. You can see the thickness of the mattress. It's a high quality mattress as well. See, that's a pillow top memory foam. In this compartment, there's bins that come with it. They can slide out. And the back portion, everything's utilized. Your wheel well, you got water heater, the bins, and then this part here, we'll see when we go outside later what storage you get outside. This is the owner's bag that Airstream gives you with all the manuals, and there's a newbie's guide in here. So the manuals for the trailer and manuals for a lot of the components inside the trailer. Carbon monoxide detector in the bedroom. Another fantastic fan. Here's the shade I mentioned. You can pull across. Overhead roof locker has plenty of storage. This is one of the other speakers for the stereo system. The rear window is emergency exit as well. So you pull the red handle, twist, and then you could lift evenly and snap it in on both sides. And you can release the screen if you needed to climb out in an emergency. And there's 3 different heights. I have it on the middle, so we could go all the way up to the top. And then make sure you lock it down before you start towing. And then for privacy, curtain pulls all the way across and snaps in place. And you can do the same on this side here for these porthole windows. Directional reading lights, you could shut them down. And then at the foot of the bed, for the television, this is the cord I use to release it to bring it around and get all my different angles. There's a ledge up here for remote control. There's USB charge ports. There's 4 total up top here. And there's an antenna on the roof of the trailer. An antenna is wired to the television, but it goes through an antenna booster first. So if I press this button here, you'll see a green light. That powers up the antenna, boosts the signal up so I could get over-the-air reception on this TV. When you're done using it, and before you hook the cable at a campground, just when you're done using the television, it's best practice to shut this off because that is a battery draw. That draws down the battery in the trailer. So you should only have that end when you're using over-the-air TV antenna. TV is plugged into an inverter outlet, and there's an HDMI port which communicates with the Blu-ray player in the front cabinet. Okay, over here, the refrigerator, 4.3 cubic foot NovaCool refrigerator, is very deep. So that's different compared to an absorption style propane electric refrigerator, which is very shallow. So the door is much smaller, but the depth is much larger. And this is a compressor refrigerator. This runs on 12 volt when you're driving, and 12 volt when you're not plugged into electricity, or electricity when you plug into a generator or the campground's electric. Up top is the freezer portion. The shelves are removable for taller items. This has a guard on it so things don't slide out. This glass is also removable. This bin is removable. There's plenty of space on the door. And there's a travel latch when you're towing. Below that, the storage here is relatively deep, and it goes up and over the wheel wells, so it goes all the way back. So there's a great amount of storage that you increase on the 19CB floor plan for 2020. The bottom portion is just the ventilation for the cabinet. Top portion has an aluminum back to it. It's pretty deep, and there's another ventilation here as well. Over here, we have a pantry, and on the 19CB floor plan last year and other models, it was about half the depth, so now it's much deeper. They also increased the depth of this cabinet so you can put more items down here. There's also a fire extinguisher at the entry door. You want to change this out every 5 years. Electrical outlet, coat hooks, and then a dry erase board. The dry erase board has a marker that comes with it, a magnet, and then you could take pictures to these, and you could put pictures in various formation on here. Let's head outside and then we'll take a look around the exterior of the trailer. On the exterior, the screen door is aluminum. It's all TIG welded, has a gasket that squeezes it up against the extruded aluminum door frame, has screen door guards, stainless steel hinges with 6 rivets on each hinge, and there's a weight sticker that gives you your cargo carrying capacity as equipped with factory options. This slides across to fill the gap. The entry door is clad in aluminum. There's insulation. We use EcoBat insulation. Has a lockable door handle, deadbolt lock, which is very secure, and closes like a vault. Love that sound when you slam the Airstream entry door. At the bottom, there's an extruded aluminum door frame with grip tape. There's an angled piece of aluminum here so you can sweep the floor out because this is higher. It sits proud of the entry-level floor. The flooring is tongue and groove plywood with outdoor exposure rating, and it has anti-wicking substance painted to the whole perimeter. So if you left your entry door open on a rainy day and a little bit of water got on top of the floor and rolled underneath, your plywood floor will not wick it through. It will repel it and allow it to drain out of the belly pan. Have a premium aluminum entry step by Thule. It goes in and out. You could also do it with your foot if you wish. Beautiful hinges on the entry door. Extruded aluminum gutter rail, which allows water to get around your door. Polished aluminum entry door grab handle. Outside GFCI protected electrical outlet. This outlet will only work when the Airstream's plugged into shore power or if you bring a portable generator. Belt line protection. This is your rub rail protection. The underbelly, the aluminum wraps all the way underneath the trailer. It's insulated with flex foil insulation. It's mold and mildew resistance, won't hold moisture. You have Goodyear Endurance 225/75 R15 load range E tires rated at 80 miles an hour. And you could max inflate them to 80 PSI. Your lug nut torque needs to be checked before every trip. If you ever remove the lug nuts to change the tire or check your brakes, you have to retorque them at 10, 25, and 50 miles. Your torque specifications in your owner's manual. The brakes are never adjust drum brakes, they're 12-inch. And this has the Dexter axle with the never lube hubs. This is a 5,000-pound axle rating on this trailer. And the torsion axle allows the trailer to literally hug the road. And there's a shock absorber on each side. Tire pressure is very important to check too, as well as lug nut torque. Coming back, we have the water heater we spoke about earlier. This is a 6-gallon tank, but it gives you 9 gallons continuous flow of hot water. This is the access panel for service. You don't want to store anything here. This is just for service access. There's a drain plug on the left here. Propane comes in. The valve opens when you tell the water heater to come on. Mixes with combustible air, ignites. Excess heat and exhaust comes out of the top. There's a pressure relief valve. If the water pressure in the tank ever got too high, it would relief out of there. And you just want to wipe it out and clean it periodically. This is the Caravel medallion. LED running lights on the trailer. If you put your parking lights on, which I highly suggest, lights will illuminate. There's 4 stabilizer jacks, 1 in each corner. I'll put one down on the other side. Caravel series has double stacked rear LED taillights. This is one of the awnings that comes in the awning package. It's all sunbrella material. You might not be able to see it on camera, but there's little black lines in it. There's a Velcro strap which keeps the awning release tool up. This is what you're going to use the strap to pull it down. I'm going to pull down, spin these around, and roll it up. And it's wrapped in aluminum when it's up to protect it. Above that you can see your Airstream lettering that sits proud of the body. There's a wireless backup camera that comes standard on all traditional Airstream travel trailers. There's a monitor that will go in your tow vehicle. We saw that earlier when we were inside the trailer. This is the rear license plate bracket with a light. Lockable rear storage hatch. When you undo the lock, you pull and twist, and this will open up. It's all radius corners, insulated, weather sealed. Inside, the vinyl floor that's in the trailer goes throughout first, and they can't carry all the furniture in through the entry door, but there's a mat on top to protect. There's some plumbing drains that go into your gray tank, and there's some low point drains for your hot and cold water lines when you're winterizing. We'll show you that during your hands-on orientation at our dealership, how to drain those. There's also a light in this compartment too, off to the side. It's an LED light as well, compartment light. Polished rear aluminum bumper. Bumper has storage. This lifts up. It's a metal pan, but it has a rubber mat inside. So whatever you put in here is going to eventually get wet. So blocks of wood, wheel chocks, power cord, anything that has ground contact that's going to get all dirty and muddy, you can throw it back here. All your clean items, so your water hose, you might want to store them in your lockable rear compartment. Airstream and Fiamma have teamed up, and they have a bike rack that's made specifically for use on the Airstream travel trailers. It's a dealer installed option. It ranges around $750 installed. It can hold up to 77 pounds, which would be about 2 bicycles. You don't want to make sure that you know the weight of your bike so you don't exceed the weight limit on the bike rack. For 2020, the Airstream 19CB has a boxed frame. In previous model years, it was a C-channel frame. This is a tool that was included, and this I'm going to use to bring down your stabilizer jacks. So these are not leveling jacks. These are designed to stabilize the trailer and take the bounce out of your walk. If you want to level the trailer, you could level it using your electric hitch jack up front, and you could use leveling blocks on the side, and you'd put them down on the ground and back the trailer up onto the leveling blocks to level you out. This is merely to stabilize the trailer so it doesn't move around. And you want to make sure that you put these up all the way and lubricate them periodically. Put them up all the way before you tow, lubricate them, I would say, at least twice a year. Okay. Over here we have the cable connection. When you go to a campground, you can hook up their park cable. You might have to bring your own outdoor rated coax cable, or the campground might supply you with one. You could also hook a portable satellite dish in here. So you put the dish on the ground, hook it into the trailer, and then you'd bring your receiver and wire it inside the trailer. The power cord is a 30 amp power cord, 25 foot. Colonial Airstream gives you a premium adapter that takes you from a 30 amp, 125 volt, to a 15 amp, 125 volt power connection. So you can plug the trailer in at home to charge the trailer, or run the microwave, or watch television. But you don't want to try to run the 13,500 BTU air conditioning off of this. It's just a little bit too much for a 15 amp breaker, and it's going to prop the breaker in your house. But this is better than the little block adapters because there's less resistance and there's less prone to melting. This is detachable from the body, and there's a red LED light that indicates you have power coming into the trailer. So if it's questionable whether or not you have power coming in and out, you could look at the light. If it's illuminated, you have power coming in. The waste system, you have a 28-gallon gray tank and a 18-gallon black waste tank. Black is your toilet waste. Gray is your sink and shower waste. I'm going to run over here and grab the waste hose out of the waste hose storage tube. You want to make sure you're wearing rubber gloves if you've used it once before. And I'm going to remove the cap. Sometimes they're really tight, okay? You might get a little bit of residual coming out, so just be prepared. And you're going to snap this on, make sure it's secure. And Colonial Airstream gives you premium waste hose. This is a 10 foot, but that storage tube could support 20 foot total, so you can put an extension on the end of this if you wanted to. This is an angled adapter, and it's clear, and it's threaded, so you can thread it into the campground's waste system. If their threads are stripped or it's a different size, you could use the donut. Stick that in first, stick your hose into it, and then snap your waste hose right in. And the practice procedure, I'll take this off so you can see what's happening here. It's always best practice to empty the black tank first. You got toilet paper and solids in there, and you want to get them through your waste hose first. So you're going to pull this straight out. Water will rush out with your waste. Now you might get some residual in there, so once you close that, you're going to use your gray waste to flush out your waste hose to get all that residual waste out. Next best practice is to exercise your black tank flush. Black tank, it's gravity. The toilet empties waste into the tank. You drive around, it mixes around, you might get a little sludge on the sides of the tank. So after you empty your black tank, you can leave this valve open and hook up a garden hose, not your freshwater hose, a garden hose to this connection, and turn on the spigot really high pressure, and there's a wand inside the tank that will spray the walls of the tank down and get all that residual waste. You can let that run for about 5 minutes. When you're done, you close the faucet off, you disconnect your hose, and close the black tank. And if you practice that each and every time after you're done using the Airstream, after your trip's over, you most likely will not have any tank odor. And you don't want to get this mixed up. They actually label it pretty clear, black tank flush. If you accidentally hook up to here and turn on the water and don't have this valve open, eventually your black tank will fill up and it will flood out the inside of your trailer. There's an LED light that illuminates this area at night, and there's jack locations. So jack, you're going to use the jack that came with your tow vehicle. Make sure it's rated for a portion of this trailer's weight. And indicated on the frame, there's a plate with a sticker that says jack. It's just letting you know, because the underbelly is wrapped up in aluminum, that it's a safe jack location. You can put the bottle jack there and it's not going to puncture the underbelly. And there's one here and there's one on the other side. And you want to use your electric hitch jack foot up front to position that front of the trailer so it's a pivot off the jack. You don't want to leave it hooked up to your tow vehicle and pivot off your tow vehicle's rear suspension. This right here is the city water inlet. So this, when you go to a campground and you're not going to use your freshwater tank and your own water pump, you could hook up here and use your 25-foot hose that Colonial gives you, turn on the water, and whatever pressure it is, it's regulated once it gets into the trailer. So it's a safe PSI for the plumbing inside the Airstream trailer. There's a little screen and filter in here. And you could also use an external water filter on your hose so you can filter all the water before it comes into the trailer. When you hook up here, it's not filling your 27-gallon fresh water tank, it's bypassing the tank and just supplying water to your plumbing as needed. The window awning package, which I highly recommend, on the roadside extends from the window in the bathroom to the window in the galley, but also shades this whole entire side of the trailer. Really keeps the temperature down, much cooler inside. And this one just rolls up, and the awning tool you'd use to lock it, twist that and lock it in place. There's a cooktop ventilation. Just move these little tabs over. When you turn on your cooktop fan, this door will open up. You want to make sure that when it's in storage and when you're towing that these little tabs are locked so it's not flapping around and bugs can't get in. The potable water tank has a key that locks it to prevent any contamination inside. Take the little cap off. Once you get that off, you can stick your hose loose and turn on the water very low and let the tank fill and relieve the air out of this valve here on the side. And it's best practice to drain down the freshwater tank when you're done using the trailer. You don't want to leave any water in the trailer for a long period of time, especially if you're going to get below freezing temperatures. You use that same key, and this will open your outside utility shower. And this wand will hang up here, and you got hot and cold water, and you can pull this out, and you can hose down all your equipment before you put it away in storage. This is the furnace and the furnace exhaust. You want to make sure that you do not block this with anything or park close to any combustibles. If you have this in an enclosed building and you're running your furnace, you got to make sure that you do vent the building so you don't have carbon monoxide. This is another stabilizer jack point. And then the freshwater tank I mentioned about draining, this is the drain valve right here. In previous model years 19CB, the freshwater tank was under the dinette above the floor. Now it's below the floor in an insulated and heated chamber, much lower center of gravity, and it helped balance out the tongue weight a little bit better. So we're able to increase the capacity. Last year's 19CB was only 23 gallons, now we went up to 27. Stainless steel wrap protectors are standard on a Caravel. Stainless steel is more resilient and thicker than your aluminum body. You can hit some debris and these will bounce out. And it's gapped from the body to allow some deflection. So if you hit a retread in the road and it hits this, it will move in and out, but there's enough gap here to prevent your body from denting. And because of that gap, we have to allow you to be able to get behind it for cleaning. So there's a piano hinge on this side and there's 3 caps you could remove, and this will swing out so you can clean and wax the trailer. Let's talk about exterior maintenance. You want to wash the trailer just like you'd wash your car. Get the bugs off the front when you're done traveling. You want to wax it at least twice a year. I use Walbanized wax. We sell it in our parts department. If you go through road salt, you want to get road salt off immediately. If you're very close to the beach and ocean air, you want to wash and wax it more often. You want to check your frame for rust, clean it, and repaint. It's a gloss black frame, so it's very easy to buy spray paint at your local home center. These are your rock guards for the front panoramic window. This rock guard in the middle has 2 tethers to keep it down when you're towing. When you're parked, you can lift it, spin the knurl knob, there's one here, one on this side, and that will then allow you to open your window 3 different heights. These windows are tinted and they're tempered glass, so safety glass. The corners are removable so you can clean the glass behind. You take a Phillips head screwdriver, turn it a quarter turn, swing this out, and it lifts off, and you want to lay it on the ground. You don't want to overextend it into the body, and you don't want to leave them loose because the wind could catch them. And you would definitely want to make sure they're buttoned down before you start towing the trailer. Make sure these tethers are on nice and secure before you tow on both sides. This has two 20-pound propane tanks. Colonial Airstream fills both tanks as part of our dealer prep, which is included. The tanks are removable. You can take this threaded nut off the top, okay? And then you can lift the bottle cover off. And what's nice about the 20-pound bottles, it's more convenient for filling. You could exchange these bottles, get a different bottle at a gas station, and go on your trip, and the next time you get another bottle and so on, versus having to find a place to fill your propane. If you go to a larger 30 or 40-pound cylinder, those are non-exchangeable, so it might be a little bit more difficult to find propane. But both tanks are filled, and I have both tanks on because there's an auto switchover. If I was to use all the propane in this tank internally, it would switch to this tank and use this tank. And whatever tank this arrow is pointed to, if that one's empty, it will show a red indication. Some people only like to leave one tank on at a time so they know when that tank is empty, when they see it red, and they'd manually switch it to the next bottle, run off of that bottle. And when you're running off of this bottle, you can still take this one out and get it filled or exchange it. Just want to make sure before you tow that you put the propane bottle cover on very securely. And on a windy day, you don't want to leave this propane bottle cover on the ground because it will take off. It's so lightweight. You just want to clamp this down so it's nice and secure so your propane tanks aren't wobbling around when you're towing. Up front here we have the 7-way connection that comes with the trailer. This trailer has electric brakes, so your vehicle is going to be required to have an electric brake controller. The 7-way that your vehicle has, if you don't have a 7-way at all or a flat 4, will have to be upgraded to a 7-way, but it's also recommended that you have a 12-volt charge lead from your alternator as well. This is a trailer breakaway cable. This will get attached securely to your tow vehicle. If the trailer and tow vehicle ever came separated when you're towing, this would pull out and it will activate the brakes on the trailer so the trailer could slow down on its own. You never want to use this as a parking brake. This is merely an emergency breakaway cable. What's happened when I pulled that out, the brakes are on full, the magnets are on, there's a lot of 12 volt going to them. It will rapidly discharge your battery and it could burn out the magnets as well. For 2020 on the Caravel series, Airstream upgraded to the Demco coupler. So it's a composite material instead of metal, so you don't have metal on metal, so you don't have to worry about any rust up front when this rubs. It's also lockable. Colonial Airstream includes a lock, a very secure lock with it. It's a 2 5/16 inch ball. You want to make sure your vehicle has a towing capacity because the gross on this says 5,000 pounds. You want to make sure that it can tow at least 5,000 pounds, hopefully more. And it's highly recommended to get a weight distribution kit and also sway control. And we have those here at Colonial. These are your 11,000 pound safety chains. You want to crisscross them and attach them securely to the hitch on the tow vehicle. You want to make sure that you don't have too much chain hanging on the ground. You could shorten these. The electric hitch jack, which is standard. You could extend it, which is lifting it, retract, which is lowering it, and that's how you get it on and off your vehicle. There's a light to illuminate this area at night, and it's very bright at night. And then you can manually crank the jack in case you had battery malfunction inside the trailer or motor malfunction. If you want to get home, you can manually crank it. There's a bubble level up top, which will get you close to level. It's not crucial that you're precisely level, but you want to try to get it level so it's comfortable when you're sleeping, your water drains properly, and your refrigerator runs more efficient. On this side, we have the external propane quick disconnect. So you could get a low pressure camping grill. You want to make sure you check the specifications, make sure it's capable of running on low pressure. You want to hook that in. And then this end, Just it has a quick release here. You take off the little rubber guard, slide back, lock it in place. And once you get that done, you could turn your gas valve on. And to release it, you just slide the coupler back, pull the gas line out. And they only give you a short amount of hose because they don't want you to be tempted on a rainy day to bring this around and start cooking under your awning and catch your awning on fire. So that's why it's purposely shorter. It's for your safety. Airstream is very mindful when it comes to safety. There's certain compliances that Airstream has to follow being an RV manufacturer, but there's also up and above things that Airstream does over the minimum standard requirements. The batteries on this are part of the solar upgraded to Absorb Glass Mat batteries. They're Lifeline 12 volt in parallel. There's a ZAMP quick disconnect port that comes standard. If you don't have the solar, you'll still have this, and you can buy a ZAMP solar panel and hook that right in. You can put that outside, and a portable panel will have its own controller built in, so you don't have to worry about wiring anything into the trailer. But if you do have the solar, you'll still get this, but when you hook up a portable solar panel, it will shut the solar system off inside the trailer and let you utilize this instead. The spare tire is mounted under the trailer, prevent it from UV rays, gives you a lower center of gravity. Well, let's face it, spare tires aren't pretty, so why not hide it underneath? There's a pin you release, slide one across on the top. Once you get that out, sometimes a little tight. Okay, the spare tire drops down. Tire is the same size tire that's included on the trailers, but the rim is steel. And you want to check the lug nut torque specifications for steel wheel in your owner's manual when you put it on. And there's nothing in there clamping it in place, it's just cradled, so if you need more room, you could always use your electric hitch jack and raise the tongue of the trailer to gain you better access to the tire. And this is the VIN plate on the side of the battery box. Let's put this back up. Make sure you put the pin in, and you're set. Put that tether up. The awning, which is standard on the curb side of the trailer, it's made by Zip-D. There's a wheel lock on either side. You want to spin those around. Once you get it loose enough, you can push in on the outer awning arm and allow it to drop down. So let's go one more. There we go. Same thing in the back here. Just going to do it a little bit faster. Then you want to twist the one in the middle, travel lock, pull the strap. Before you do this, check the weather, make sure you don't have heavy winds coming through. Also, make sure the entry door is shut. If anybody's inside the trailer, have them wait until you're done pulling the awning out before they exit. Once you get this in your hand, drop the pole, spring load, it's going to want to come back in, so you don't want it to slip out. Get it down all the way until you see this flap here. With this little visor, hold it the whole way down as you're walking to the end. If I let go, it's going up. So I'm going to hold it. Then I'm going to grab this rafter arm that sits loosely on a little perch here. Okay? When the awning goes up, it's spring loaded, it keeps it in place, but now the awning's down, it's loose. This has to go at the end of the roller. Don't be tempted to put it here. It just looks like it could go there, but it will damage your awning. Very important. Put that on the end of the roller wheel. Now it's there, the awning still wants to go up. So inside here, there's a spring and there's little notches this little pin sits in. We're gonna load this spring with the tension and that locks it in place. Now all the pressure's on this upper rafter arm. We're gonna go to the other side, I'm gonna do the same thing. Bring it out, hook it on, lock it in. Now that we have it locked, we can lift. But it's easier to lift from the inside. This aluminum piece sits inside this hollow aluminum tube. They're square, so you want to make sure that both are completely straight, otherwise you'll get too much resistance. So this won't slide back in because I got this pulled out too much. If you keep it straight, it slides nice and smooth. And there's a series of holes here. So let's get it straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is the highest setting that you have. You could tilt this side down, but over by the door, you want to remember to rhyme, 4 by the door. You want to make sure you're at the highest setting, number 4 by the door. So when you open your entry door, it does not rub on the awning material. And the last step, you can roll this up nice and neat, and it sticks in a little pouch right up at the top. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour of the all-new 2020 Airstream Caravel 19CB. This Airstream is available at Colonial Airstream. Our telephone number is 800-265-9019. You can visit us on the web at colonialairstream.com. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Colonial Patrick. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.